What if everything you've been trying so hard to achieve is actually much closer than you think? What if the life you want isn't on the other side of more struggle, but on the other side of less forcing? Right now, you have everything you need to create the changes you're seeking. You just haven't been shown how to access it yet. That feeling you get when something clicks into place effortlessly, when a solution appears out of nowhere. That's not luck. That's you working in alignment with how things actually function. You're about to discover why trust is the most powerful tool you've never been taught to use, and how it transforms everything. Here's what I've discovered. The more you trust the natural flow of how things work, the less you need to exhaust yourself trying to make them happen. Think about learning to ride a bike. At first, you grip the handlebars, tense your whole body, and fight for balance. But the moment you relax and trust the bike's natural stability, everything changes. You're not trying less, you're trying differently. This happens because our minds confuse intensity with effectiveness. We think if we're not struggling, we're not working hard enough. But watch someone who's mastered their craft: a chef, an artist, a parent who's learned to navigate tantrums. They're fully engaged, but there's no frantic energy. They've learned to work with reality instead of against it. When you trust how things naturally unfold, you stop wasting energy on resistance and start channeling it toward actual progress. The effort is still there, but it's aligned rather than scattered, which means you get better results with less stress, more clarity, with less mental noise, and deeper connections with less trying to impress. This shift changes everything about how you approach challenges, relationships, and your own growth. If you're still here, you're already different from most people who think success means grinding harder. You understand that there's something deeper at play. In just a moment, I'm going to show you exactly how to recognize when you're working against yourself versus working with your natural flow, and the simple shift that changes everything instantly. If this is resonating with you, please subscribe. It really helps me continue sharing these deeper insights with you. Let me show you how this plays out in real life. When you're trying to have a difficult conversation and you script everything out, practice your tone, plan for every possible response. How does it usually go? Awkward, right? Because you're so focused on controlling the outcome that you can't actually be present for what's happening. But when you trust that you can handle whatever comes up, when you go in with clear intentions but flexible methods, something shifts. You listen better because you're not preparing your defense. You respond more authentically because you're not performing a script. The conversation flows because you're working with the natural rhythm of human connection. This pattern shows up everywhere. The job interview, where you're so busy trying to say the right things that you forget to show who you actually are. The creative project, where you're so focused on making it perfect that you never actually finish it. The relationship where you're so worried about saying the wrong thing that you stop saying anything real at all. What I've come to understand is that trust isn't passive. It's actually the most active thing you can do. You're choosing to engage with reality as it is, rather than fighting for reality as you think it should be. Take a moment and think about something in your life that's been feeling forced lately. Maybe a goal you're pushing toward, a relationship you're trying to fix, or a problem you keep trying to solve the same way. Notice what happens in your body when you imagine approaching it with curiosity instead of control, with trust instead of force. Can you feel the difference? That slight relaxation in your shoulders, that space that opens up in your chest. That's what aligned action feels like. Here's where most people get confused. They think trust means being passive, just waiting for things to happen. But that's not trust. That's avoidance. Real trust is incredibly active. It's saying, I'm going to show up fully, do my part completely, and trust that the outcome will be what it needs to be. It's like planting a garden. You prepare the soil, plant the seeds, water consistently, and remove the weeds. But you don't try to force the plants to grow faster by pulling on the stems. You trust the natural process while doing your part. This creates a completely different energy around your actions. Instead of that frantic, I have to make this work feeling, there's a steady confidence. Instead of second-guessing every decision, there's clarity about your next step. Instead of exhaustion from fighting upstream, there's sustainable momentum. The paradox is that when you stop trying to control the outcome, you actually influence it more powerfully. People respond differently to you when you're not desperate for their approval. Opportunities open up when you're not grasping for them. Solutions appear when you're not forcing them. Your actions become magnetic instead of pushy, compelling instead of needy. So how do you actually practice this? Start with something small. The next time you find yourself forcing a conversation, trying to convince someone of something, or pushing against resistance, pause and ask yourself, what would this look like if I trusted the process? Instead of having 10 backup plans, have one clear intention and stay flexible about the path. Instead of trying to control how someone responds, focus on communicating clearly and letting them have their reaction. Instead of pushing through fatigue, trust that rest might actually serve your goals better than grinding. Here's a simple practice. Before you take any action, notice whether you're moving from trust or from fear. Fear-based action feels urgent, gripping, like you have to make it happen. Trust-based action feels steady, curious, like you're participating in something larger than just your will. When you catch yourself in forcing mode, take 3 breaths and ask, how can I do my part without controlling the whole outcome? Then adjust your approach. You'll be amazed how much more effective you become when you stop working against the natural flow of how things want to unfold. Over the next few days, you'll start noticing the difference between aligned action and forced action everywhere. You'll catch yourself gripping too tightly and remember to breathe into trust instead. People around you will sense this shift. There's something magnetic about someone who's fully engaged, but not desperately attached to outcomes. Change happens in layers, not overnight. Every time you choose trust over control, you're rewiring decades of conditioning. You already have the wisdom to know when something feels forced versus when it feels aligned. If you found value in this, hit subscribe. I share these insights for people ready to live with more ease and clarity. Drop a comment and let me know. What's one area where you've been forcing instead of trusting? And if this helped shift your perspective, share it with someone who might need to hear this message. Sometimes we all need a reminder that there's a gentler way forward.